Solidarity Realty. There is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, it is Monday, but it's Election Eve Monday. That makes it a big Monday. How you doing, little buddy?
I am fantastic, Curdy. Happy Election Eve Monday to you. Evan on the board, our fair audience. Great to be with you once again.
Dominic, lots of compelling headlines today. Lots to talk about. Yes, collusion. Yes.
Right? I told you.
Now, Manafort has come out and made a confession. Manafort was the campaign manager to the former president, Donald Trump. And he was giving polling data to Kalibnik, who turned out to be a Russian spy. Who knew?
Weird, right?
But Manafort says, well, I wasn't doing it to collude. I was doing it to get paid. So that makes it all better.
Does it really? I mean, handing over campaign data to the foreign adversaries who obviously were involved and I would suggest using that very data to target states like Wisconsin for their efforts on the Facebook advertising, right? Try to divide and try to shake up the election here. Oh no Russian. Yes, there was Russian collusion.
There was literally collusion with Russians in the form of the campaign manager and a Russian spy. Above and beyond that, Tom, there's the telltale toilet. We'll perhaps talk more, but once again, the flush documents of Donald Trump, he denied. Oh, Maggie Haberman.
Maggie Haberman from the New York Times wrote the article about Trump, putting documents down the toilet. And he denied it. No, she's a maggot. He called her names, just like, lying about Manafort and the collusion with Russia, lying about this particular article or from Haberman, the New York Times. Apparently now she's given photos of documents at the bottom of a toilet to Axios. Yeah,
How do we know that was Trump's official toilet?
I guess we don't. Is there an official Trump toilet?
No, but the handwriting of Donald Trump and the pronounced use of Sharpie.
Yes.
And the fact that the documents were torn up, and Elaine Stefanik. Is it Elise Stefanik? I forget. Anyways, number 3 in the House GOP caucus. Well, her name was on the list. It's always great to see your name on a piece of paper at the bottom of the former president's toilet.
Yes, Rogers also, not clear who that specifically referred to, but there was some
Congressman Rogers,
presumably.
So anyways, Dom, there's lots of stuff to talk about, but let's start a little closer to home. Dom, you and I made a big sacrifice for the sake of our audience, for the nation, really. On Friday, we went to a Donald Trump rally in Waukesha, and it was quite an event. First and foremost, I was asked. I appeared on another fine radio program earlier today, as goes Wisconsin, with our friends Jane and Kristen Bry. And they said, give me one word to describe the Trump rally. My one word, sweaty.
Sweaty. It was a hot one.
It was quite hot. There was no shade. So I got there approximately.
Oh, we cast a little shade. I made a point to cast some shade. It was pretty easy to do given the attendees and the, man of the hour.
But that shade wasn't cooling, Dom. The shade you cast. But we sat in the sun for, 5 hours? Cooked up pretty good. I was sweaty. But anyways, the early portion of the rally, and we did give commentary over, the guest of honor. And it wasn't Donald J. Trump per se. It was actually a rally for gubernatorial candidate Tim Michels. And here was my takeaway. Michels is a loud talker.
He talks. He's very excited.
Well,
very
he
Alex Jonesy, man.
Yells and if you want Alex Jonesy, you're thinking Derek Van Orden. That guy literally matched the timbre of Alex Jones, right?
Yeah.
Do a little Derek Van Orden for the people, Tom.
I gotta tell you something, people. Actually, it almost sounds like like all-star
WWE,
wrestling, right? Yeah. It's very, very, very loud, very out there. We're gonna go to Washington. We're gonna drain the swamp. All that kind of stuff. And remember, he was already in Washington, during the insurrection.
You mean the Republican nominee for the 3rd Congressional District of the great state of Wisconsin. And Ron Kind is retiring after many years, not seeking re-election. So tomorrow, the state of Wisconsin, at least the 3rd CD, they will pick the Democrats' choice. But the Republican choice is clear, Dom. Only the best sort of WWE Alex Jones styled insurrectionist for you.
Gun toting, like literally carrying a gun on a plane, toting insurrectionist, using campaign funds to, engage in the insurrection. Of course he did.
Well, what if he had snakes on a plane, Dom? Got to have a gun to shoot those snakes on a plane. You saw the movie.
Is that what it is?
Can't say that. Anyway, snakes on a plane.
Yes, it was hot, but I think when I went home, and it felt great to take a shower, but not to get the sweat off me.
I haven't showered since then.
It had to wash the Trumpster off. It was weird, man. It was very strange. It was sweaty, no doubt, but that was a strange crowd, man.
Yes, and other than us, what else was strange about it?
The response to the Trump whistles, right? The reaction of the crowd when Trump does his thing, or Van Orden did his thing, or Michels did his thing.
The fascism on full display.
Yes, the fascism and the way that they longed. And it was not a huge crowd, but it was certainly a loyal crowd. And if there's anything more, and if nothing more that Donald Trump loves, it's loyalty. And of course, he was an hour and a half late. What a prima donna! And so they had to put the fill in. So what they do? Oh, let's check into CPAC with the My Pillow guy. What? Really? I mean, it was just. It's strange, man. It's strange.
And
I'm not
Don't forget Carrie Lake.
Any of those people know anything about how government is supposed to work, about the separation of powers and the 3 branches of government. I mean, literally, I've had conversations over the weekend with some folks, lamenting about how Biden isn't doing this or Evers isn't doing that. I'm like, dude, do you understand how legislation is written? Like, do you know how it works? I mean,
they do not know, Dom.
No, I know. I understand this, and I'm not trying to rip. It's just I was a little surprised by the reaction because, of course, we're kind of dialed in. I know a little bit. I know a little bit to be dangerous. I know to ask some questions. I know what I don't know, and what I don't know is why anybody would follow a guy like Donald Trump, who again is proven to be a big fat liar. Lied about the Russian collusion. His campaign manager came out today, and hopefully maybe there should be some prosecution somewhere along the line since it did happen. He lied about, ripping up documents and putting them down the toilet. And those are the 2 lies we confirmed today.
Well, there are a few lies, a couple of whoppers told from the stage. But I want to come back to Tim Michels just for a minute, this gubernatorial candidate. Michels, this was his big opportunity to make a big impression on the maybe 3,500 assembled. Now, if you didn't tune in for the fine special event broadcast from Waukesha on Friday, I told the story of the last Trump rally I went to. And you didn't have to go to that one. I went all the way to Des Moines, Iowa on a Saturday night back in October of last year. And I estimated the crowd at like 40,000. The Des Moines Register had it at like 25,000. I estimated the crowd in Waukesha at no more than 3,500. I mean, that was a vastly, vastly different crowd than what I saw in Des Moines. I mean, if that's all the juice that the old man's got left, the Cheeto Messiah, oh, he's slipping big time.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, there were almost as many porta potties as there were people. I mean, there were a lot of unused, clean porta potties. It was actually kind of nice. I used them a couple of times. But there was, the stage in front, and the people surrounding. Then we had the press area behind, and then a huge field, and then the security, and then like more field, and then the vendors. It was open. They did not need that much space. Let's put it that way.
Open fields. Not full fields, not congregating fields, not people grazing sort of fields, open fields as far as the eye could see. The crowd sort of squished together, didn't even really have to crowd. I mean, I think most people got seats. And at political rallies, man, you could stand all day long. If you want to be a front row Joe, you got to get there at like 8 a.m, stand out in a blistering sun all day long. And then you stand there for what? Like 6 more hours waiting for Trump to come to the stage. Then you get like 90 minutes of the classics. The only new stuff is Trump apparently wants to kill drug dealers these days. That's new material. That apparently for the 2024 elective contest.
Tested out some new material.
But Trump was so late that Tim Michaels was sent back on the stage. Like he appeared at 5, and then he was back on stage at 7. And then later with Trump at like 9 o'clock. But anyways, Tim Michaels had an open mic, a crowd there to see him, potential voters in a Wisconsin gubernatorial primary. And first and foremost, he mostly yelled at the people, like doesn't understand the microphone will actually amplify the sound. You don't have to scream at the microphone. The microphone does that for you. And the other part is he did like a Trump imitation. And I mean, I do a bad Trump. I do a bad Trump.
Yes, you do.
But he didn't even try. He just did like Tim Michaels saying, this is his Trump imitation. He's just him talking, but saying, this is my Trump imitation.
It was very, very impressed with how sharp Trump's mind was.
Because he knew pie.
Right.
Because he understood that, one 42-inch pipe is bigger than two 30-inch pipes.
Yes.
If
Tim Michaels thinks that Donald Trump has a sharp mind, then I question Tim Michaels' judgment.
Did you hear the man speak? Why would you still question? There's nothing to question. This man's a moron. Given the opportunity to make a big splash, to, influence the crowd, win friends, perhaps a few votes, he just blew it. You blew it, Michaels. You blew it. Come back. More Devil's Advocates. We never blow it.
Is it ever gonna be enough? Is it ever gonna
And what's it gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world run wild on you?
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidates. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
You recall the Capitol insurrection? A post-ABC News poll showed 54% said Trump should be criminally charged for inciting the riot. That's like a litany of criminal allegations against the former president. You can say it's all partisanship and a witch hunt, but there wasn't one credible accusation against Obama during his entire 8-year term. So how Republicans just ignore all the evidence? I mean, he was perpetrating a coup on multiple levels.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane.
When they go low, we get high. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's the 420 break. You can join us on the phones at 844-967-2789.
Dom, did you request this fair song? Because
I did not.
Plays
It's a
nicely.
great song.
Did you see it coming?
Does.
Well,
I did not.
Evan, you are prescient in that. Rudy Giuliani is supposed to give some sworn testimony down in Georgia, Fulton County, right? You heard the little sound. Trump was looking for 11,780 votes, and apparently Lindsey Graham was assisting, and a few others, maybe, Rudy Giuliani involved. And the district attorney of Fulton County wants the testimony. And Rudy apparently has got a note from his doctor saying, sorry, I can't get on an airplane. Rudy's not currently able to fly. So the prosecutors came up with a very kind counteroffer. Dom, leave the driving to us. We'll get you a ticket on Greyhound. A little bit from the Raw story. I think we both enjoyed this headline. Georgia prosecutors offered Rudy Giuliani a bus ticket after he claimed he could not comply with the subpoena because his doctor would not let him fly. Very convenient. The former New York mayor was scheduled to appear on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, Dom, before a special grand jury that's investigating whether the former president, that's Trump, illegally interfered in Georgia's 2020 presidential. He did. Giuliani's attorney, Robert Costello, said the judge had excused his client from testimony on Tuesday. According to court documents, Giuliani provided prosecutors with evidence that his doctor had ordered him not to fly. But the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney, Will Wooten, called Giuliani's bluff. We do not consent to the change of date. We expect to see your client before the grand jury on August 9th, 2022, here in Atlanta. We will provide alternative transportation, including bus or train, if your client maintains that he is unable to fly. Oh, man, I traveled literally across the country on a Greyhound. I went once from North Carolina to Georgia. That was an excruciating, felt like a day. Yeah. But I also took a Greyhound from North Carolina all the way to Wisconsin. Oof. That literally took greater than 24 hours because they stop at every small town along the way, right? Yep. Pick up every vagrant, every bum, every whatever. And, crudies.
And crudies. Gotta get the crudies.
I got to tell you, that's not my preferred mode of transportation. Although, at 12, a couple guys in the back did offer me some free drinks.
Wrapping up the Raw story, Crudy, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney will hear arguments Tuesday on Giuliani's motion to delay his appearance. I wonder if he's going to come down with a quick case of the COVID. Sorry, can't do it. Mom died. I got COVID.
Got to wash his hair? Wash the hair dye out of his hair?
Got to wash the dye out of his temples.
844-967-2789. One other notable point of the Trump rally. No, we normally keep it moving forward, Dom, but looking back just for a moment. The invocation, you talk about the separation of the powers. How about the separation of church and state?
One of my favorites.
The invocation at the Trump rally. Now, the prayer was given by a corrupted former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice, Michael Gablemen. And this guy is supposed to be the special prosecutor. In fact, he's the guy that came up with the bright idea and strongly suggested we should consider decertifying the 2020 election and the results, that favored Joe Biden, because that's who the people voted for, but not the way Gableman sees it. Now, in private correspondence, Gablemen said, well, of course, that would be unprecedented, and you really can't do that. It'd be impossible. But that's not what he's telling the public. So he showed up at the Trump rally, and Donald Trump was in town to support Tim Michels. But talking about no shade, he was also there to cast shade on Rebecca Clayfish. That's why he came to her backyard, and he didn't exclude Robin Vos.
Oh, no.
Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, he was targeted because, he hasn't done his part and decertified the 2020 election. But what did Vos do? Well, Vos, of course, tried to satisfy the former president, went down to Alabama under pressure, got on a private plane, went to a Trump rally, which, as we know, Dom, can be an excruciating experience.
Indeed.
And Vos came back and appointed this corrupted former Supreme Court Justice, Michael Gablemen, special sauce prosecutor, right? So Gableman's at the rally where Trump is really crapping on Robin Vos's political opponent. And then he topped himself today. As of today, the guy who said this investigation is not about politics whatsoever, although he showed up at a Trump rally, declared the election rigged on like the day after the election, and subsequently has done this ridiculous investigation at taxpayer expense. But do we have the robocall? Let's play it quick before we go to break. Evan, if you would, here is corrupted former Supreme Court Justice Michael Gablemen on behalf of Robin Vos's opponent, Adam Steen.
Hi, I'm former state Supreme Court Justice Mike Gablemen, asking you to join President Trump and me in supporting Adam Steen for state representative. Robin Vos never wanted a real investigation into the 2020 election
That's
in
why
Wisconsin.
he hired you.
And everything that my office and I have been able to do to expose all the corruption that took place has been in spite of Robin and not because of him. Please
corruption?
Join President Trump and me, Mike Gablemen, in supporting Adam Steen for state representative. This has been authorized and paid for by friends of Adam Steen.
Dominic, I'd like to throw my considerable heft and endorsement behind Adam Steen as well.
You and Mike, the Mikes.
And Trump. Don't forget
vaunted
Trump.
Mike's endorsement.
Well, I prefer Crudy, and I prefer corrupted former Supreme Court Justice Gablemen when describing Mike.
How long do you think Gableman stays on the payroll after tomorrow's election?
I know I like to make some big predictions, but my prediction is that by like midday Wednesday, Vos comes out and does a public emasculation of former corrupted Supreme Court Justice Michael Gablemen. I think he's going to chop his you-know-what's off.
The GOP's in disarray!
More Devil's Advocates.
Hi, it's Rudy Giuliani, and I'm on Cameo.
Get in the car.
Everybody's doing it.
Now.
Here's how you get them. If they bring a beer, you bring an old-fashioned. If they bring cheese curds, you bring a casserole. That's how you make friends. That's the Wisconsin way. That's Devil Radio.
I'm sick and tired of the pro-choice versus pro-life argument. It's past time we get honest with each other. Pro-choice or forced birth. That's what we will have if we take away the ability of women to make choices for their own bodies, their own futures. Send me to the U.S. Senate and I will vote to codify Roe v. Wade. I will vote for the autonomy of women. You can find my position on all the issues at PekarskyForWisconsin.com and follow the campaign on Facebook and Twitter. This ad paid for by Pekarsky for Wisconsin.
Brian, what the heck are you doing?
I'm making a patio.
When I told you it was patio season, I didn't mean we had to make one of our own.
But I got all this grout all over me now.
Yeah, but I meant we need to go see Hawk at the all-new Jade Monkey on Cottage Grove Road. They've got an awesome patio, and it's the perfect place to stop for a cocktail after the show.
Jade Monkey has a patio? Why don't we go there?
Exactly. Now put down those power tools and let's go grab a drink.
That's all right. I was done anyway. Suck down drinks so we don't have to suck.
Federal sentences. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. The white father and son convicted of murder in Ahmaud Arbery's fatal shooting after they chased a 25-year-old black man through a Georgia neighborhood were sentenced to life in federal prison for federal hate crimes. Arbery's father, Marcus Arbery Sr., dismissed Travis and Greg McMichael's pleas for mercy.
They didn't ask for mercy. They didn't give him no mercy that day.
William Roddy Bryan, the man who recorded the cell phone video of Arbery's killing, got a 35-year federal sentence. He's in state prison serving life with a chance for parole. The McMichaels were sentenced by the state to life without parole. Olivia Newton-John, Grammy-winning star who reigned on the charts with such hits as Physical and You're the One That I Want, has died. She was 73. In a 2019 AP interview, she talked about Grease, in which she starred as Sandy, opposite John Travolta.
People still talk to me about it and want to know about it. And where's John? Like we're attached to the hip 40 years later. It's hilarious.
I'm Tim McGuire.
We tried Dynovite for gut health and immune support, and after a couple of weeks, our little Gizmo was acting like a puppy again. His coat was shinier, he had a lot less scratching and shedding, and he seemed like his happy old self.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Get 10% off your next order of Dynovite nutritional supplements for dogs at Dynovite.com.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
This is a court-ordered notice. If you were subject to the data breaches of the United States Office of Personnel Management and you experienced an out-of-pocket loss after the breaches, you could be eligible for a payment from a class action settlement. To see if you're eligible, go to opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567. That's opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567.
For Civic Media, I'm Jane Matnier with your headlines. Changes are coming to 6 Dane County school districts as we head into the 2022-23 school year. Sun Prairie will relocate Prairie Phoenix Academy, its alternative school, to a new space. The old building will be torn down in fall. The district also plans to convert and consolidate different buildings into 3 schools for students in grades 6 to 8. A split decision by Wisconsin's U.S. Senators after the Senate this weekend passed the Inflation Reduction Act. Democrat Tammy Baldwin voting in favor of the measure, Republican Ron Johnson voting against. Johnson also joining with the majority Republicans in voting against a $35 monthly cap on the cost of insulin. 7 Republicans voted with all 50 Democrats, but ultimately the cap was stripped from the legislation. Cloudy skies today, chance for a stray thunderstorm with a high 75. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM, WTTN, 1580 AM.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin Uprising. The Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It is election eve, partisan primary in the great state of Wisconsin. Not as much drama on the Democratic side.
No.
Mandela Barnes feels like a foregone conclusion, right? No offense to Peter Pekarsky or Stephen Olakara or the others that haven't withdrawn their names from the race. So it's going to be a crowded ballot, but only a few candidates that claim they're still running for the nomination. So I guess Mandela's our dude. Tomorrow night, we're going to have very special extended coverage right here on the radio, Devil Radio and WAUK. It's going to play out at WXCO, Bull Falls Radio. And after the Rafters game on Tuesday night, we'll play out in WFHR land as well. But the drama has been greatly reduced over on the Democratic side. I mean, I thought this was going to be an exciting night for the state of Wisconsin. Had all these great candidates, and then they all withdrew.
Well, they're all getting in line behind Mandela at this point. Crudy, I know we want to move forward, but I just want to wrap up the Trump rally here in Waukesha, quoting a friend of ours, Patrick Barley, now working with the Washington Post.
Yeah, had to shake the big shot's head.
Yeah,
Washington
right, man.
Post reporter, Patrick
Local
Barley.
boy making it good. Marley concludes his piece as such, and this is something I did not know. Trump's visit to Wisconsin came days after conservative activist Harry Waite, remember that guy, announced that he had used a state website to have an absentee ballot for Voss sent to his own home. Waite has said he knew ordering the ballot was a crime, but wanted to expose what he considers a vulnerability in the online form to request ballots. Waite said Trump's team had asked him to attend the rally, but revoked the invitation when he said he wanted to bring state rep Tim Ramthun as a guest. Ramjam, another gubernatorial candidate, has been the most vocal official in the state calling for decertification. Many in the crowd were there to see Trump, not the candidates he endorsed. there was a strong out-of-state contingent, the boys from Illinois, Crudy, and even some Wisconsinites who said they don't know who Voss was, did not know who Voss was, even though he'd been in office for 18 years and been a speaker for the decade. Scott Gooden, who works in healthcare, said he supported Trump in 2016 and 2020 and came to the rally as a way to help him make up his mind on whom to support in the race for governor. Gooden lives in Milwaukee's suburb of Mequon, about 50 miles from Voss's district. He was not familiar with Voss or Steen, but said he assumed Trump's endorsement of Steen would help him. He did not think it was unusual that Trump was inserting himself into a primary race for the state legislature. Quote, "This is Donald Trump. Nothing surprises me. I mean, he could pick the most obscure city clerk in Ashwaubenon to support, and that's Donald Trump," he said, referring to a suburb of Green Bay. "It's theater, and we all love good theater. All Americans, I think, do." End quote.
I love theater. Don't you love theater?
I do love theater, but
it was quite theatrical on Friday.
It's a little scary though. If you know your woke history, right? If you ain't woke unless you know history, and the history of the fascism and the slow pull of all these people towards that fascism and that cult leader. That's a very scary thing. It's very scary, and I think there's a lot of attitude like this out there. Like this guy from Mequon. Oh, it's theaters. Was it theater? Was it theater when they ransacked the Capitol? Was that theater? Was it theater when they ran over and crushed one of their own, or when Ashley Babbitt got shot trying to break into the room? Was that theater? That's not theater. That's real life. This is actually happening. So if you're looking at these for entertainment purposes, if you think this is his reality television show, you're most certainly wrong. This is not fiction. This is not theater. This is not a game. This is a fascist trying to overrule the will of the American people in a free and fair election. There is no circumstance where I find that at all entertaining or theatrical.
The Devil's Advocates radio show for entertainment purposes only. Although wagering, side bets, we're okay with that. You can side bet.
Just gentlemen's bets. And ours.
844-967-2789. Are you still taking my Adam Steen action?
What's the action
with
again?
the kicker? 3-2. You get 3-2. You got Voss, I got Steen.
Yes, there's no way, Steen. That's not happening. I mean, the West GOP, they are in disarray, but I don't see that happening.
But if they don't even know who Robin Voss is, you know what I mean? When he was the only Republican on the ballot, he got like 3,000 votes in the 2020 primary. His only competitions were write-ins for like Mickey Mouse. Well,
no doubt. And
he swept the primaries unopposed, but what if he had real, sincere, endorsed competition? Man, I think it's a pretty good bet. I'm going to take that.
I mean, it's an underdog bet, no doubt, and it's fun, and we'll find out, tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. But Wisconsin, as we always talk about, the center of the political universe, articles all over the place from this weekend and into today, from the Washington Post, the New York Times, of course, the Raw story, the Hill. People are commenting on what's going on here in Wisconsin. It's all over MSNBC today as well.
Kind of makes you feel important, doesn't it?
I don't rely on news coverage to make me feel important. I am my biggest fan.
Oh, I know you are. Perhaps your only fan.
Maybe. I got the best fans.
967-2789. If you're a Crudy fan, if you're a Dominic fan, just, text. That's George. George is your only fan. Anyways, Dom, so a couple of other thoughts. I think I was mentioning the Senate race without drama, but there is a competitive Democratic primary. Now it's not a statewide, but the third CD is, basically the western portion of Wisconsin. And then like the Stevens Point area, there's like a grab out towards the central states.
Right.
And you can hear us there. There are people right now that are listening that are going to cast a vote tomorrow in the third CD primary. Now that's Brad Paff. He had been, Tony Evers' Secretary of Ag designee that the Republicans never gave a confirmation vote to. Then Brad won the special election for the retiring Jen Schilling. Brad had worked for Ron Kine once upon a time. And a shocker, the old boss gave him the endorsement. Now, Deb McGrath has been in studio here. I've interviewed her a few times. I met Brad up in La Crosse as well. Found her compelling. The CIA background, the fact that she was a military officer and a CIA officer, and she had that very compelling campaign ad where she jumped out of an airplane. That was crazy. So anyways, Deb McGrath, also a character and perhaps a compelling character in the third CD. I think she'd make a nice contrast to former Navy SEAL and Alex Jones impersonator, Derek Van Orden.
Don't forget insurrectionist.
Cook, there's another woman. I met her at the Democratic Party of Wisconsin convention. Thoughtful, younger person. I want to say I have no idea how old she is. Everybody seems young to me these days.
Yeah.
What's Evan,
every year
like
they
12?
get younger.
Anyways, Cook, I believe her name, Rebecca Cook, perhaps. The other one, and Newman. There's Mark Newman on the ballot as well. But I am guessing, I don't know, I don't have any particular insights, but I'm guessing between the endorsements for PEF and the fact that he is a state senator and Deb McGrath's very aggressive campaigning, I would think it's a 2-horse race, but crazy partisan primaries. You never can tell. There's probably no accurate polling. And the third CD, that's a pretty large expanse of western and central Wisconsin. So who knows what the voters are thinking? I just know whoever we select, it's got to be better than Derek Van Orden, right?
I mean, come on, right?
What else? Any other excitement in the air? Of course, the gubernatorial primary on the Republican side. Dom, you got to be feeling good about Ram Jam's chances.
He's gonna get rolled over, man.
Well, of course,
but I do. There is regarding Steen. If I just throw this one out there, I'm on some mailing list, so I got an email from one of Steen's people, and apparently today, Adam Steen's election eve Steen Relief Gathering joined President Trump endorsed 63rd Assembly District candidate Adam Steen for an election eve activity. How far can you toss Voss? How often have you dreamed of tossing Voss? Now is your opportunity to show us what you've got in the Voss tossing slingshot contest. When? Monday, August 8th, from 4 to 6:30 p.m.
That's right now.
Burlington. It's on right now.
Is that by Robin's house? Are they grabbing the guy?
Adam Steen will be doing live interviews with Bannon's War Room as well as One American News. Bannon's War Room will be intermittently checking in on the Toss Voss contest during their live broadcast. Special guests include former Justice Michael Gablemen, Jay Schrader, a candidate for Secretary of State, and Jay Stone, candidate for Wisconsin's 21st Senate District. Prizes awarded to the top Voss tossers. And there's a little asterisk here. Adam Steen, his campaign team, and campaign volunteers do not condone violence. The real Robin Voss will not be used in this contest. Rather, we'll be using a puppet representation of Robin Voss. And then Kuchka just texted me out a tweet from, Matt Smith News. And they're literally got like this big slingshot, on the back, trailer on the back of a pickup truck where they are tossing this, I guess, dummy, of tossing Voss. This is where we're at, man.
I've heard of tossing a salad, Don, but tossing Voss, that's a new activity. You're going to have to tell me about it.
So I just retweeted it. Check it out on Devil Radio, at Devil Radio.
Now, how far will Voss toss, Tom?
It didn't look, they don't show the distance. They just show the mechanism. So it's, I would wager maybe 30 yards.
I've been working on my upper body strength. I bet you I could toss the actual Robin Voss a good, 5-7 yards, something like that. 15, 18, 20 feet. He's not a large man. Not that we condone
violence. No. Well, he's taller than me.
I'd give him a helmet. Come on.
Wow. Yes.
People have done worse to earn money. I'm just saying.
The toss and Voss. I know, but it's just stupid.
Being the subject of the Voss toss, they should have some poor, dumb kid be in the Voss toss, like wearing a Voss, like the full PPE gear, like Voss wore on election day back in.
It's totally safe to go vote. Yes, that Robin Voss. So I guess ultimately, to put a finer point on it, the Republican Party's in disarray.
844-96. If you keep saying it, it might come true, Dom.
It's totally true, man. Look what's going on.
844-967-2789. You don't think that is what all political parties do on the day before elections? Take, their opponents in effigy and slingshot their ass across the county? I mean, that's the sign of a party that's about to rally and come together for the general. Yeah. Robocalls from former corrupted Supreme Court justices and the former president wades in to an assembly race against what some would describe as the most powerful Republican legislature in the state of Wisconsin.
Who did what Trump wanted and started an investigation, who Gableman says in his ad that Robin Voss didn't want a real investigation. What, dude? I mean, if that's the case, then why'd you take him up? Oh, that's right. $11,000 a month plus expenses.
I mean, those Chinese buffet, they're not free, Dom. Andy from Beaver Dam, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Hey, Andy.
Well, you guys are gluttons for punishment. It's Friday. I couldn't believe it. I had the radio on all day listening to your blow-by-blow with these people out there who I think the heat got to most of those guys from Illinois. But at any rate, I don't know what happened to you guys, but then later on, I fell asleep for a while in the evening, and all of a sudden I wake up on 540 to Trump, with the same old blow, and I looked at my watch and I thought, my God, it's like 9:45. He was supposed to show up at 7 o'clock. What
Andy,
the hell happened?
I'm going to confess, the pundits, the panelists, Dom and Crudy, had long since moved down to the bar by then.
Yeah, we did our part, man.
Or there was air conditioning. You gotta take it easy, man. But
no, man, we cracked the windows. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates, more beer phone calls as well. It is Election Eve Monday.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I wonder who that is, honey.
Hugs with family.
Grandma and Grandpa's here.
Get over here.
Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed.
I miss you so much, Grandpa.
Get the latest info about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
Mitch McConnell did make a public statement, right? After he voted to acquit, nothing says the president can't be prosecuted. Set the example for your caucus.
Convince your caucus as to why the man is not fit to serve. How do you not use your leadership to say, you guys, this is crazy. We can't do this, and here is exactly why. Because now of the two major political parties, one of them is under the thumb of a fascist insurrectionist.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi there, I'm Kirk Bankstad, and I own the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I also have a super PAC. We make good trouble in the North Woods of Wisconsin. You can support our efforts at the MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and buy our woke gear like t-shirts, hoodies, and trucker hats. Enter the code RADIO and get 10% off on your next purchase. A portion of all sales support the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC, which is dark money meant for good. That's the MinocquaBrewingCompany.com.
Here's today's STEM tip. Don't throw out that old plastic bottle. Repurpose it by turning it into an awesome terrarium. Just fill it with sand, pebbles, soil, and your favorite plant. It'll grow sealed right in its own ecosystem. Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
And we're back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can be a part, offer your opinions, your comments at 844-967-2789.
Sorry about the fire truck here. I think someone's burning the noodles across the street there. I hope it's the actual noodles and not the noodles restaurant. Anyways, back to the phones. 844. I'll keep you abreast. I'll do play-by-play. If we have a 3-alarmer across the street, I'll let you know. 844-967-2789. Our pal Hosshole listening in Sheboygan. Welcome, Haas. How you doing, man?
Hey, Mike.
I think that smells my brain on fire. I'm so confused. I really don't know what to do. Dom, the alternative atheist, is calling for the right thing and take the high road. And Crudy, the ultimate believer, wants to follow evil strategy. I just don't know what to do tomorrow.
God wants you to vote
topsy-turvy, Mike.
God wants you to vote for Adam Steen and defeat Robin Voss in the primary.
Look, if James Santel calls for evil strategery and Maggie says do the right thing, then I really got to jump in the lake tonight. Okay, guys, I'm really confused. I'm not kidding. I don't know what to do tomorrow.
Well, you don't get a vote in the 63rd, so what's your big dilemma?
It's even worse than that. Half of the ones up this way don't even have anybody running against them in the end. So, I mean...
Are you in the 6th CD? Is Sheboygan?
No, look at the gerrymandered maps. We split Sheboygan in between Cleveland and the rednecks in Kiel and the bankers down in Oostburg. I think you know him, LeMahieu. Yeah, no, it's I really don't know if I should do my classic straight ticket. I might even vote for some of the Dems who left the race.
Well, you only get one vote, Mike.
I know. I only have
would
one,
you have voted for? Who'd you like?
Well, I know that I personally, honestly, I think that watching Tom Nelson work the crowds up here well before everybody else declared was amazing. The guy's really legit. He's really got his stuff together. I think it's a shame that a pastor's son can't get a fair shake. I wish he would have stuck it out just to see how many votes he gets.
What was the unfair part about the race from Nelson's perspective?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about unfair. I just wish DL would have stayed in so to see how the numbers shake out at the end, so that for their type of candidacy, that there's legitimacy behind their message and legitimacy for that type of candidate. I am not even going to throw shade on all the ones with the money. I'm a fan of Mandela Barnes for sure, but no, in terms of crossing over and taking the ballot on the other side tomorrow, I don't think I can do that. I mean, I want to, Crudy. I know
come to the dark side, Mike.
No, because Dominic,
I'm your father. I say
Dominic
vote for Adam Steen.
Do the right thing. Dominic wants me to do the right thing, and I think that's going to follow me to my grave.
Sometimes you got, my brother-in-law said this once to my kid, Mike, and I told him, keep your advice to yourself. But his advice was, sometimes you got to do the wrong thing for all the right reasons.
Look, if ballot harvesting is a thing and ballot boxes are illegal, then you telling me what to do is also on the dock. So don't tell me what to do. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it as always. And just as
you're
as
not
I
the
tell
boss of me.
As I also tell my children, I am not a role model, but I appreciate the sentiment, Mike.
Okay.
844-967-2789. Speaking of not being role models, CJ, welcome. Happy Monday, CJ. What do you got for us?
Hey, CJ.
Hey there, guys.
You know, I saw $3.30 something a gallon gasoline. CJ, you must be celebrating the massive drop in gas prices.
As he whittles away on our strategic oil reserve, brilliant move.
It worked. It worked, dude. What?
Away at it up to
weren't you the guy complaining about the high gas prices? Didn't he knock down the gas prices?
Till he gets it down to where he took over office, it is still high.
What, we got to drive the world into another international pandemic and drive down demand? And then if gas is back to $1, then you're happy, CJ? Because that wasn't exactly a successful economy. What's that, fella?
Wasn't the strategic oil reserve meant for our military in a time of need? And he's taking us down that road, too. We're going to end up in a nuclear war.
You wanted cheap gas. You got some freaking cheap gas, man.
Idiot.
Oh, you don't know how to. You don't know how to accept a win, CJ.
Well, it's not a win. It's just a bitch session. And as soon as, if it's addressed in a way that, if Trump would have done that and the gas prices came down, he'd have been all about it. Yes, I'm happy. It's not an honest discussion or a thoughtful argument.
Did you see
bitching?
Alan Dershowitz went on Maria Bartiromo's show over the course of the weekend. And Dershowitz pointed out many of the good things to his perception and to mine, and should be to yours, CJ, that Joe Biden's done for the economy and that Joe Biden has done for the American people. It's almost like he's trying to serve the American people, CJ. I mean, I know that's a crazy concept, governance, not for one guy who thinks he's above the law, but for the entirety of the American people. And you're bemoaning the fact that it was successful. Gas is way down, dude. It's as cheap as it's been in like 2 months. Stop whining. Embrace it. Be happy. You know you're going to vote for Joe Biden again, CJ. And I did say again. 844-967-27. No, you'll stew all night on that one. 844-967-2789. Mark from the SAC. Welcome back. What do you got, Mark?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I see where Paul Manafort has come out really and said, yeah, I was given to the Russians and, all of that. And, well, it turns out the Mueller report was right. Trump was coordinating with the Russians.
Until we get the unredacted copy, I'm not reading the Mueller report.
Well, as I will read it when we get the copy, too. But it sounds like, Trump indeed, his campaign indeed was working with the Russians. And if you think that Paul Manafort couldn't have known that those guys were actually government agents or working so closely with the Russians, then you're a damnable fool, because when you're dealing with a power like Russia right now, that that they are everybody's in with the government, and if you're in with the government over there, you are part of the the new regime of the fascists, the neo-fascists, whatever they are right now. But I mean, you're part of Putin's team, and Manafort more or less said, yeah, we were working with the Russians. Well, this nonsense, it was just a hoax. The Russia hoax. No, there was a Russia hoax.
Mark, appreciate your call. One of our fine listeners and often contributor, Jeff, sent us along a Forbes article. No, former President Donald Trump did not fill the strategic petroleum reserve. Although I bet you CJ thought he did, because he probably lied about it.
Really? Trump lied? Weird.
I know it's a shocker, but there's like 9,999 more of them behind that one. Come back with us. We tell no lies. Hour 2 is next.
That's true.
You did something right.
Go to hell, you old bastard.
This is Pat Slattery of Slattery's Automotive Service in Verona. Established in 1973, I've been servicing and repairing cars in the Madison community for nearly 50 years. You can trust me to tell you what your car really needs and fix it right the first time. Give me a call at 608-848-6123 to schedule an appointment today. Slattery's Automotive Service, your trusted choice for local service and repairs for all your automotive needs.
Wisconsin's fall partisan primary election day is Tuesday, August 9th. Once the polls close, tune to Devil Radio 92.7 FM for special coverage with your favorite hosts from 8 to 11 p.m. Mike Crute, Kristen Bry, Earl Ingram, and all their guests will break down results for both the Democratic U.S. Senate primary and the Republican gubernatorial primary. Political insight you won't find anywhere else. Devil Radio's special election night coverage, Tuesday, August 9th, 8 to 11.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus, W224 EG Madison, always streaming on the Devil Radio app.
AP News, I'm Tim McGuire. A federal judge sentences father and son, Greg and Travis McMichael, to life in prison for a federal hate crime in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery, a black man jogging through their South Georgia neighborhood. They are already serving life without parole in state prison. Julie Walker reports.
The federal crime penalty is largely symbolic. Still, Arbery's parents say it's another victory. The McMichaels wanted to serve their time in a federal prison, saying they felt threatened in a state facility but were denied. They told police they suspected Arbery was a burglar when they chased him in a pickup and Travis McMichael shot him with neighbor William Roddy Bryan filming. I'm Julie Walker.
Bryan, serving life in state prison, got 35 years for his federal hate crime conviction. President Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, traveled to Kentucky to get a first-hand look at devastation caused by the worst flooding in the state's history.
Creeks and streams that are now running brown, and you see from the helicopter, you see automobiles, everything from buses to automobiles to homes. You know, it literally in the middle of the water, on the side of the road. And you think to yourself, what in God's name happened?
At least 37 people are dead. Singer and actor Olivia Newton-John has died after a 30-year battle against breast cancer.
Olivia Newton-John once said that when she showed up in leather for the final scene of the movie Grease, the crew had no idea who she was. Newton-John also starred in Xanadu and Two of a Kind. Newton-John sold more than 100 million records, including Magic, Have You Never Been Mellow, and Please Mr. Please. Newton-John said in a 2019 AP interview when she realized what the song Physical was about, she tried to stop its release, but her manager said it was too late.
I was like, oh my God, we better do a video. Okay, we'll do a video and we'll make the video about exercise.
I'm Archie Zaraletta.
This is AP News. The U.S. pledges.
We tried Dynovite for gut health and immune support, and after a couple of weeks, our little Gizmo was acting like a puppy again. His coat was shinier, he had a lot less scratching and shedding, and he seemed like his happy old self.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Get 10% off your next order of Dynovite nutritional supplements for dogs at Dynovite.com.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
This is a court-ordered notice. If you were subject to the data breaches of the United States Office of Personnel Management and you experienced an out-of-pocket loss after the breaches, you could be eligible for a payment from a class action settlement. To see if you're eligible, go to opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567. That's opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567.
Cut through the bullshit. Get the information the deep state doesn't want you to know. Only on Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
I'm Peter Pekarsky, a U.S. Senate candidate approving this ad paid for by Pekarsky for Wisconsin, asking what kind of world do you want to leave to your children and grandchildren? A world where Ron Johnson uses his Senate vote to change the tax code so another $79 million stays with 3 of his rich campaign contributors instead of paying for Wisconsin schools and roads? Or a world where Peter Pekarsky is a U.S. Senator working for all the people of Wisconsin? Tell us what you want at PekarskyForWisconsin.com.
Listen to your favorite political talkers no matter where you are. 92.7 FM in Madison and Eastern Dane County, 1580 AM Columbus, north of Madison, and for daytime east-west commutes on I-94, 101 FM in the Shaw, and 540 AM covering eastern Wisconsin all day and covering the Milwaukee Metro, the Wild Counties, Racine, and Kenosha 24/7. Download the free Devil Radio app for your smartphone and take both stations with you everywhere. No excuses, just listen.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidates. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
Devil Radio, your fix for progressive talk radio from Fitchburg to DeForest, always streaming at darnwi.com.
For Civic Media, I'm Jane Matnair with your headlines. A power outage over the weekend forced UW Hospital to run on a backup generator for around 5 hours on Saturday. This after a malfunction of one of the building's electrical transformers. Few other details about the cause of the outage have been released. Over the weekend, the U.S. Senate passing the Inflation Reduction Act, an effort to reduce rising costs for Americans by ensuring some of the largest corporations pay fairer tax rates. U.S. Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin voting in favor, Republican Ron Johnson against. Johnson also joining with the majority of Republicans in voting against a $35 monthly cap on the cost of insulin. 7 Republicans did vote with all 50 Democrats. Ultimately, though, that cap stripped from the legislation. Cloudy today, the chance for a stray thunderstorm, high 75. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM, WTTN, 1580 AM.
Devil Radio programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty Studios. Find them at solidarityrealty.com. Solidarity Realty. There is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, Wisconsin Primary Eve. But also, Dominic, Minnesota partisan primary eve. Tomorrow's going to be a very big day. We are going to do extended coverage right here on Devil Radio and the Shaw. We're also going to do it on Bull Falls Radio, and our friends listening in River Falls on WFHR will join us after the Wisconsin Rapids Rafters game. In progress. They'll join the extended coverage in progress. But quick note for our AM 950 listeners up in Minneapolis, what you need to know about tomorrow's Minnesota primary.
Oh, do tell, Curdy.
Well, Dom, there's a lot of little races, but there's only one statewide race. Here's a couple of notes you should know, Minnesotans. As of Friday, more than 107,000 absentee ballots had been accepted for the state primary election, according to the Secretary of State's office. Just so you know, this is far fewer absentee ballots compared with the 2020 primary, in which there were nearly 544,000 ballots accepted. Minnesotans likely seeking more absentee ballots were likely seeking more absentee ballots in the early months of 2020 because of COVID-19. Now, back in 2018 in Minnesota, there were only 144,000 absentee ballots that were accepted. So it's more comparable to the pre-pandemic numbers. Let me tell you, Dom, about the statewide race. That's the one I wanted to get to. Where is it here? Where is it? One statewide race to watch. And I'd love to hear from you fine folks listening in Minnesota at 844-967-2789. The Attorney General's race. And we want to talk about that here in the state of Wisconsin as well. We've kind of given it short shift, Dom. But here's the one in Minnesota. The only major contest is on the Republican side, where the Republican primary for Minnesota Attorney General is between candidates Jim Schultz and Doug Wardlow. Schultz, a Harvard law grad, is GOP endorsed. Wardlow was the 2018 GOP nominee. And in the meantime, Dom, he has worked as general counsel for MyPillow. The Minnesota company founded by 2020 election denier and Trump buddy Mike Lindell. Now, we got a double dose of Lindell at the Trump rally. First and foremost, they had the pre-recorded CPAC speech, which was described as unhinged. CPAC in Dallas. Now, we were at the Friday night event. Trump spoke at CPAC on Saturday, but Lindell had already spoken. And then, as a special treat to the rally goers in Waukesha,
you're welcome.
They had live Mike Lindell on the big screen. Like, "Hi, I'm Crazy Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to sell you some pillows, Waukesha."
Trump was 90 minutes late, so they had some fill. So they started pulling all the wackadoodles out from the CPAC on the live screen, and Mike Lindell was one of them.
Well, he was like the filler in his pillows, not of good quality.
And now what? Now his former general, or I don't know, it's former or current, former general counsel to My Pillow, he's running for Attorney General in the state of Minnesota.
What greater qualifications than working for Mike Lindell? I mean, that guy's probably getting sued every day, right?
I mean, it's busy work. I don't know if he gets paid enough.
That's just for defamation, Don. Here in the state of Wisconsin, we barely talked about this race. The Democrat, the incumbent, Josh Kaul, and he was heartily booed at the Republican rally, right? Most people don't know who he is, but they booed him.
Boo, if he's a Dem.
He's a Dem.
Communist, socialist, progressive. Got to boo him, Marxist.
Now, the Republican field is down to 2. There had been another candidate, and after it turned out he was deleting some public records over at his job at the Tommy Thompson Center, I believe, he dropped out of the race. And the 2 remaining are former, state lawmaker Adam Jarchow. That's Joel Clayfish's buddy. Clayfish endorsed Jarchow. And Fond du Lac DA Eric Toney. And they were having some interesting exchanges. I know you've got that, but I wanted to talk about the money being spent on that race. Pardon me. Campaign finance reports show Americans for Prosperity, well, they're not candidates. Why would Americans for Prosperity, that's Koch brothers group, why would they wade in with $550,000 in a Republican primary? Why wouldn't you just let it work itself out? And then, if you were supportive, get involved later. So they're $550,000 supporting Jarchow, according to, I guess these are disclosures. The group spent $383,000 on mailers. That's a lot of freaking junk mail. Now I see both Rebecca Clayfish and Michaels, and really the people supporting Adam Steen. They're all out with late mailers. And I'm thinking to myself, has anyone in the history of elections ever been persuaded by a 4-color junk mail?
I mean, I don't know that they're great pieces to engage, but if you see it and you happen to vote and you're not really dialed in, you see a name, maybe you'll just write the last name of the last mailer you saw. I'm not a fan of the junk mail because this makes more work for me. I want them to pay me to dispose of their junk mail, but that's another story.
Yeah, you and Kramer have a similar advocacy in that regard. Anyways, a lot of money getting spent. The Badger Values PAC spent $207,000 approximately on 2 TV ad buys in support of Jarchow last month, and $201,000 on 2 other ad buys opposing Toney. So, they're equal opportunity. They're for Jarchow and against Toney, spending in both columns. And the National Rifle Association Political Victory Fund spent $1,629 on text message campaigns and endorsement postcards in support of Jarchow.
So is anybody spending any money on Toney? I mean, what about Eric Toney? No love for Eric Toney?
I don't think there's a lot of love for Eric Toney.
Well, I, Crudy, and Daniel Bice from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel may have some insight to that.
Wait, one more thought.
All right.
You may actually like one of the advocacies of Adam Jarchow. Attorney General candidate, Republican.
Legal weed?
He is.
Yeah, good.
That's my understanding. No, I've never smoked one with the guy, but, if he's willing, I'm willing. Meet you in the parking lot about 4:20, sir.
Tomorrow. As mentioned, Bice. The headline, Republican Attorney General candidates disagree over whether America has a history of racism.
No.
Adam?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
This is not a rhetorical question. Let me jump into this just a little bit. Folks, you can join us also on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Does America have a history of racism, these Republicans? Inquiring minds want to know, Dom.
Hey, I want a CRT going on here now. Come on. Next thing you know, we're all going to stop going to church and have abortions. Here is what Vice writes. This is just how far the party is.
Dom, I remember your 3 abortions in college.
I know, it's all right. Abraham Lincoln, the political party that put an end to slavery, has come. The 2 Republican Party candidates for Wisconsin Attorney General are in a dispute over whether America has a history of racism. Really, truly. Back on June 1st of 2020, Fond-du-Lac District Attorney Eric Toney wrote an extended and thoughtful piece on Facebook reflecting on the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police officer the previous week. Toney wrote that those responsible for Floyd's death should be brought to justice, but that the justice system could only do so much. A quote from Toney: "Convictions won't bring George back, nor can they erase the emotions of this week or the history of racism that led to this moment." Pretty safe sentiment, right? Not in today's Republican Party.
Yeah, that sounds way too reasonable.
That was back in the good old days of 2020. As Bice writes, Toney is being opposed in the GOP primary by State Rep. Adam Jarko, a Republican from Balsam Lake. The election is tomorrow, with the winner going on to face Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul. In a recent mailer, Jarko suggested Toney could not be trusted because of several of his recent statements and actions. Among them, Toney's claim that America has a history of racism, citing his June 2020 Facebook post. Toney was also accused of saying he was absolutely in favor of police reform, botching a Fond du Lac County criminal case that led to the death of a firefighter, and charging several people with violating Democratic Governor Tony Evers' safer at home order early in the pandemic. The charges were eventually dropped.
Tyrannical. They should hang this guy in the square. Not that I'm advocating violence.
No, of course not. We're not hanging Mike Pence here. Can you really trust Eric Toney? The Jarko mailer says his record is clear. Eric Toney can't be trusted. Is it really true that a major Republican Party candidate can't say America has a history of racism, including nearly 250 years of slavery and decades of government-mandated segregation, without coming under attack? Question mark?
Dom, do you recall at the Trump rally the other day, they said, Ripon, Wisconsin was the birthplace of the Republican Party.
Yes.
But that Republican Party is dead.
It's dead.
The Republican Party of Abe Lincoln was killed by Donald Trump, coming down. And what was the first words out of his mouth as he ran for president? Oh, he was talking about the immigrants, the murderers and rapists.
I'm sure they have good people too.
I'm sure, a couple. Come back with us.
The Republican Party, murdered by Donald Trump and his cult, reborn, they also said, in New York and Trump Tower.
He is risen.
Never really understood that whole thing, but I guess
more like
so long, Republican Party. Nice to know ya. And if you're running as a Republican in Wisconsin, hell, across this country, if you dare suggest that America has a problem with history, a problem with racism, 250 years of slavery, decades of government-mandated segregation, apparently you're just too CRT for the megas. Folks, we're the Devil's Advocates. Come right back with us, 844-967-2789.
Say, man, you got a joint?
I got a joint here, man. I've been saving for a special occasion.
Taking your kids to their first baseball game.
Remember to get your copy of the souvenir program.
Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed.
This is awesome!
Get the latest info about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidates. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
Cardall put out these weird, sad videos interviewing incapacitated elders in their nursing homes that don't have the ability to say, don't use me as your political prop.
If they are what you say they are, then you shouldn't be doing it how you did it.
Yes, it was the kids using the parents as props. Well, my old man hasn't talked since 76. Of course he would have voted for Trump. That's the evidence. Videos. People that can't talk.
It is wrong.
So
it's absolutely wrong.
Check out the entire podcast library at darnwi.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates, rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can join us on the lines at 844-967-2789.
Let's go to him. I believe Ross from Middleton, my hometown, is next. Ross, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Ross.
Hey guys. Just a quick reaction to Republicans and racism. If one talks about the racism in this country, within seconds you can watch their heads expand and explode. If you teach this, racial history in school, the kids of Republicans will FaceTime their parents, tell them, and then watch their parents on their cell phone watch their heads explode. I mean, you can't talk with these people about racism. It's just like it's an unspoken. You're not supposed to talk about it. But the reason I called though was I listened to your guys' broadcast of that Trump debacle. That talk about a guy that has no mojo. But specifically Michaels. Michaels is like this guy that's kind of hollering at the crowd. Kind of got this growly voice. You almost think Tommy Thompson, but he doesn't have Thompson's sense of humor. And being a Connecticut guy, he doesn't even really have a sense of Wisconsin. And it was just sort of.
I heard nasal twang, Ross. We do it here.
You, and the thing that really I realized he's a jerk when he made that snide remark about kids going to. I forgot what the expression was. He was making a joke or not a joke. He was making a snide comment about kids that may be gender, identification issues or whatever. A drag show. Oh yeah, I'm not going to have my kids go to some drag show. I thought this guy's a jerk, and I sure hope that Wisconsin sees that, because I don't think Wisconsin likes jerks for whatever office.
Well, they might in a partisan Republican primary, Ross.
Right. I think possible.
I think that Tim Michaels will win the vast majority of the state tomorrow. I bet he wins like 58 to 60 counties. And the only chance Rebecca Clayfish, is to turn out overvote in the wild counties. If she doesn't turn them out like Leah Vukmer turned them out, Leah Vukmer crushed Nicholson in Waukesha, which is ironic because he's got the shop in Waukesha. I did think about calling the property manager there where WAUK is located, because they have this internal policy where if they manage a property, you can move your shop into a different property. And I've been asking for months about that Nicholson place. Like, hey, is that going to be available like August 10th? And anyways, it became available, you would think, a little bit earlier, but they still got the no better friend signs. So I guess Uline's still paying the rent there, but it didn't help him turn out the votes in Waukesha. And I continue to point out, Tim Michels has made the airwaves filthy on radio ads all across the state.
Well, he spent like $8 million of his own money in this effort.
Yeah, but Rebecca Clayfish could not match that effort, not financially. She didn't have the ads outstate. She might have had the ads in the important media market. She might have played them in Milwaukee and Madison. And Milwaukee is like the third largest county for Republican turnout. And Madison, Dane, would be like the fourth largest Wisconsin county for Republican turnout. But outstate, like where Trump was popular, where Nicholson was popular, and where Tim Michels is going to be very popular. When you start seeing the vote tallies come in from outstate, it's going to be all red. But just understand, there might be 1,000 vote margin in a lot of those counties. Tops 1,000 votes.
Yeah, right. I mean, some of the smaller counties in the upper Wisconsin have 4,000 or 5,000 people in the entire county. Yes. Trust me.
The one that Duran's in's got like 20,000. Pepin County is pretty small. There's look at like Menominee County. I don't know if there's anything quite that small, but anyways, like smaller than a Trump rally in Waukesha.
Yeah,
that's pretty small.
This is what I'm telling you. Florence County has 4,300. Menominee County 4,500. Iron County 5,600. Pepin County 2,700. Forest County 9,000. Buffalo County finally getting into the 13,000. So of the 68, the last 6 or the 5 smallest counties are less than 10,000 people entirely, let alone of voting age, and let alone those who actually will get off their ass and go vote
in a partisan primary.
And
then you got to be a Republican, which is the vast majority of the people in those little 5,000 people counties. Probably. I don't know, because we never played on the radio there. If you're in Pepin County and you can hear us on a stream
right.
or like on the crazy science of AM radio, give us a call. 844-967-2789. Once again, we will have special extended coverage when the polls close tomorrow in the great state of Wisconsin at 8:00. We will cover the Wisconsin primary outcomes and, of course, the Wisconsin senatorial, I guess the U.S. Senate race, the Democrat side, though. As we've mentioned, there will be little or no drama there because Mandela Barnes has basically earned the endorsement of all the other candidates. But Stephen Olakara's team's trying awfully hard. I got like a personal call from Team Olakara, and I thought it was like an interview request. Like, hey, man, can we sneak him on one last time? No, they're offering me Olakara for a personal conversation, to try and win me over. Like, he's got time to talk to every individual voter that wants to hear more about Olakara. Hey,
Ted Cruz walking around the diner shaking everybody's hand.
Indiana, baby. It's like I got a little too much time for each and every one of you because I'm desperate for every single possible vote.
Mommy, the greasy man is scaring me. Can I just eat my pancakes?
Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. It's a Monday. That means tomorrow's a Tuesday. And in the great state of Wisconsin and Minnesota, it's election day. So if you got any thoughts on election day, if you're excited to cross over, maybe go vote in a Republican gubernatorial primary and then go vote for Adam Steen, 844-96-PARTY, because that sounds like a great strategic plan.
Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good!
When you're gonna turn on the radio, you gotta listen to Devil Radio 92.7.
Dark Horse Art Bar is Madison's newest live music venue and art gallery on East Washington Avenue. Check out these upcoming events at the Dark Horse. Get your 10 seconds of fame at the Open Mic with Pinhead McFly. Open Mic is the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. Open Mic with Pinhead McFly at the Dark Horse. Dark Horse Art Bar and Gallery, 756 East Washington Avenue. Find them online at darkhorsemadison.com.
With the destination.
Wisconsin's fall partisan primary election day is Tuesday, August 9th. Once the polls close, tune to Devil Radio 92.7 FM for special coverage with your favorite hosts from 8 to 11 p.m. Mike Crute, Kristen Bry, Earl Ingram, and all their guests will break down results for both the Democratic U.S. Senate primary and the Republican gubernatorial primary. Political insight you won't find anywhere else. Devil Radio's special election night coverage, Tuesday, August 9th, 8 to
Olivia Newton-John. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. Actor, singer Olivia Newton-John is dead at 73 following a 30-year battle with breast cancer. She told reporters in 1998 that the diagnosis changed her outlook on life.
I know it sounds weird, but I would say that it changed my life in a wonderful way, in that I appreciate every morning, every day. I'm thankful I'm here. And people say, oh, it's a horrible day, it's raining. I say, it's a beautiful day.
The Grammy-winning superstar reigned on the charts from 1973 through 83 with such hits as Physical and You're the One That I Want. She also had her breakout acting role as Sandy in the film version of the musical Grease. Police are looking for a suspect in a series of killings of Muslim men in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 4 victims now reported, 3 of the slayings in the past week. The deaths have sent ripples of fear through the Islamic community nationwide. Last week's victims were all from Pakistan and attended the same mosque. The first killing was of a 62-year-old man from Afghanistan last November. I'm Tim McGuire.
We tried Dynovite for gut health and immune support, and after a couple of weeks, our little Gizmo was acting like a puppy again. His coat was shinier, he had a lot less scratching and shedding, and he seemed like his happy old self.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Get 10% off your next order of Dynovite nutritional supplements for dogs at Dynovite.com. Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
This is a court-ordered notice. If you were subject to the data breaches of the United States Office of Personnel Management and you experienced an out-of-pocket loss after the breaches, you could be eligible for a payment from a class action settlement. To see if you're eligible, go to opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567. That's opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567.
From Up North News, I'm Pat Kreitlow. Remember, Tuesday is primary election day across Wisconsin. A recent poll shows it's still too close to call in the gubernatorial primary between Republicans Tim Michels and Rebecca Kleefisch. Over on the Democratic side, nominees will be chosen for lieutenant governor, state treasurer, and secretary of state, and Republicans will also pick a nominee for attorney general. On our radio show, we talked about whether Senator Ron Johnson miscalculated when he voted against a price cap for insulin as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, which passed the Senate on Sunday and goes to the House on Friday for a final vote. You can listen to Up North News as a podcast on Apple and Spotify, or watch us live weekday mornings from 8 to 11 by going to the Facebook page of our Wausau station, Bull Falls Radio. And get more in our daily newsletter. Sign up for it at upnorthnewswi.com.
%60 of the time, they're right every time. The Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Monday edition, the Happier Happy Hour. Always happier with your phone calls. 844-967-2789. Don't be shy. If you're hearing us for the first, second, third time, whatever. We barely bite. Dom likes to bite, but, only
just a gentle nibble.
Dom, I couldn't believe Democrats got something done this weekend.
I know, dude. It's like actual governance and laws getting passed and stuff going on. And instead of just name calling and, crapping all over the Capitol.
Well, they kind of crapped all over Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. Apparently, they backdoored these shyster Democrats, using reconciliation, and they voted the vice president to push this through along partisan lines, Dom. And what are they trying to do? I know it's a inflation reduction bill, but what's that mean? I don't even know what that means.
just give it a name to address what's going on right now. A little bit here from Tony Rome from the Washington Post. The Senate Sunday approved a sweeping package to combat climate change, lower healthcare costs, raise taxes on some billion-dollar corporations, and reduce the federal deficit, as Democrats overcame months of political infighting to deliver the centerpiece to President Biden's long-stalled economic agenda. And just in time, remember, we have some elections going on tomorrow. So, I mean, this is all good, right? Climate change, big problem. Lower healthcare costs, good. Raise taxes on billionaire corporations that aren't paying jack. Yeah, that's a good idea. And reduce the federal deficit. I mean, up to like $300 billion in deficit reduction. These are huge. Dubbed the Inflation Reduction Act. It would authorize the biggest burst of spending in U.S. history to tackle global warming, about $370 billion to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to 40% below their 2005 levels by the end of this decade. The proposal will also make good on Democrats' years-long pledge to reduce prescription drug costs for the elderly. I mean, is this good? This is good, right? We want to do those
Medicare
things?
is good. The failure, and actually 6 or 7 Democrats went along with Republicans to strip the cap of insulin at $35. Now that remains the cap through the Medicare, and that part of the bill was intact through the vote. But the cap, the public cap of $35 insulin, that's gone.
That's gone. Parliamentarian determined that was not part of, could not use that in reconciliation. So, of course, the Republicans
But
are
the
just
Democrats-
vindictive and mad. Just vindictive and mad like they were about the bill with the vets and the burn pits because they didn't get this other bill to go the way they want. So I'm going to jam this one up. I mean, from a political standpoint, the Republicans look terrible. From a legislative standpoint, the Republicans look terrible. Just one more paragraph here, and then we can move on to other issues, in part by tweaking federal tax laws, chiefly to target tax cheats and some billion-dollar companies that pay nothing to the government. The bill is expected to raise enough money to cover its new spending. Wow, and it's paid for? Democrats say the measure is also expected to generate an additional $300 billion for reducing projected budget deficits over the next 10 years, although they have not yet furnished a final fiscal analysis of their legislation.
Let's go to the phones, Dom, 844-967-2789. We do have some senatorial sound as well, but I'd rather talk to the audience. Robert from West Ellis. Welcome, Robert. What do you got for us?
Hey, Robert.
Hey, guys. I encourage everyone to go out tomorrow. I'm actually going to do a protest vote. I really did not like the way that the candidates kind of all folded up around Mandela Barnes a couple weeks ahead of the election. Folks that donate money, knock doors, text, call into radio stations, things like that. It's really irritating to work on a campaign and then just have them give up a couple weeks prior. So I think all it's going to do is suppress the vote tomorrow. So I'm hoping people will come out and they'll vote for Pekarsky or they'll vote for Stephen Alikara just to show them, we're not cool with this. This needs to stop. I didn't like it when they did it to Bernie, when they folded up around Joe Biden. I don't like it now. So.
Well, Robert, if you're going to declare yourself a candidate for any position, let's say state chief executive, the only honorable thing to do is pull out before you fail to qualify on the ballot.
Robert, let me, I totally get your point, man. I mean, and I can appreciate that if someone, put their time, energy, efforts, assets, whatever into helping out a candidate and they pull up and decide to do it as many of these candidates did, I can understand. And hopefully they did right by their volunteers, no doubt. But then why not?
How do you do right by the volunteer?
Hang on. If the protest vote, everyone's still on the ballot though, right? Like Godlewski's still on the ballot, Nelson, they're also going to be on the ballot. You could still vote for that person as a protest vote as well, right?
Yeah, but it won't matter, right? At least you're better off if you go with the Pekarsky or Alikara, because that actually would matter. They're still in the race, right? But honestly, down ballot, there's a lot of races to pay attention to too. So hopefully people will focus on that and come out for that, if nothing else.
Well, Robert, here's my tip of the cap. Peter Pekarsky, unlike any of the other candidates, may be accepting to a small degree Tom Nelson, and that might have been an economic thing. But Pekarsky embraced the progressive talk radio audience. And some of these better known candidates, the Lazarys, the Godlewskis, and to a lesser degree, Nelson, although he did throw a few ads on, I would say, had they embraced the lefty talk radio audience that you're a part of, Robert, maybe they'd had something to stick around for.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, next time we should give the money to the radio station instead, because you guys won't drop out, right?
no Christmas carols either. Not even on Christmas around here. 844-967-2789. That's sort of an inside joke. If you don't know it, you don't want to know it. Brett from Eureka, man, how you been?
Hey, Brett.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good.
Good. Hey, listen, I'm calling because I want to celebrate. It feels a little premature, but I feel like you guys are coming on board finally for that Inflation Reduction Act. What do you say?
Define coming on board for it. It's going to apparently go through the House of Representatives. One must assume.
Friday, I think
all the Dems will get on board. And, by like next week, maybe Joe Biden gets to have a little victory tour in the Rose Garden at least.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he needs, because I see what the Republican strategy is, and it is ad hominem attacks, or I don't know what the hominem is for men, but they'll attack the person. Is basically, they know that Democratic policies are popular. So what do they have to do? They have to attack the person, which in this case is Joe Biden, right? Attack Joe Biden and then tie all of the Democrats running for office to Joe Biden, and that's their strategy.
But Brett,
they have no policy.
Do you think that's successful, though? I'm not clear that, I haven't seen Biden on the stump yet. That may change in the fall, but I can't imagine Joe Biden's going to go where he's unwanted. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of Biden on the stump. You might see a Buttigieg or something. But what I would say, Brett, is I don't know that the people of America are saying, well, Joe Biden sucks, and therefore I'm gonna throw out my Democratic congressperson. I don't think they are correct. Necessarily, and those that don't like Joe Biden, I think there's lots on the left that don't like Joe Biden. It's just that they find him uninspiring. And, the combination of Manchin and Sinema up until now has left us wanting for legislative achievements. Now, I'm great that they're getting one here at the end, Britt.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
I'd rather see them get a couple more Senate seats, hold the House, and we might actually be on to something.
But that's the way we do it, is to have something to run on. So you're right, yeah. Biden might not be hitting the stump trail to support these candidates, but if you can't point to legislative wins both by Congress, by Senate, and by the executive, I think then you can go to the American people and say, look at what we've done, and what have Republicans done? They don't even have a policy coming out of their annual, whatever, hayseed theft. I don't even know what they call it. But
they have a policy, Brett. It's we support Trump no matter what he does, and whatever he says is God Almighty. End of story, period. Next.
844-967-2789. John from Wausau, hopefully listening on Bull Falls Radio, WXEO. John, welcome. You're the first from Wausau.
Hey, John.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to point on this vet bill that everybody's talking about, and I think it's kind of gross what the Democrats kind of did here. I know a lot of Republicans didn't like the $400 billion extra dollars that was added onto this bill as in pork, and the Republicans were trying to figure out hey, why is this in here? This is what we don't agree with. That's why I'm going to vote no against this. And the Democrats just kind of said, I don't know what it's for.
Are you clear on that, John? Because that's not my understanding. Jon Stewart, who is a comedian, I grant you, it's Jon Stewart. But Jon Stewart came out and basically fact-checked this. He has been a strong advocate for the vets. And I'm a vet, man. I believe in the vets, John. My understanding is that was a clean bill, John. And the only thing that really changed was Republicans were feeling a little salty because Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer, they felt like it pulled a fast one. So this was spite, John. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dominic.
No, that's my understanding as well. And I did see some of the discussion with Stewart as he was interviewed on some of the talk shows. That it was basically the same bill that all the Republicans and Democrats have agreed on before. And the money thing they were talking about was really more of a moving around money. It didn't take anything, didn't make any big difference on the bill. It was just a reason that the Republicans used to stall it. Of course, they ended up going along with it, John. You know what I mean? And they went back to their original position on it. So it was just a hissy fit as far as I'm concerned, John. Unless you got some other info.
They had to, because I think they had to, because it's like either you say no on it, and then the Democrats say, "Oh, you don't care about our vets. Look at this and look at that," and it's just. I mean, I get both parties do it. They prop people up, which is sickening. They say either you do this because of this, or we're going to label you as this. I get both people do it. It's kind of sickening what they did, though, to say, "Hey, either you support our vets or you don't." And why commit political suicide with that? Why fall on that sword? I guess.
Well, let me read from the fact checks on this, John, because we want to get it right as often as we can. But I'm going to read from the fact check at Newsweek, specifically on the statement that Jon Stewart made about this burn pit bill. A Senate reading of the bill in June of 2022 was passed with an 84-14 vote. It was sent back to the House and returned with minor amendments. It was then returned to the Senate in July of 22, but a cloture vote, meaning to end debate, which takes 60 people, a cloture vote prevented it from passing for presidential approval. Now, Stewart points out in his video in which he says the bill that passed the Senate 84-14 on June 16 had not one word added to it by Democrats or spending fairies or anybody else. It's the same effing bill. Arguments about the bill's spending parameters caused senators, they say, to pause its clearance. However, one of Stewart's central claims was that the bill had not had one word added to it. This is true, according to the fact checkers. Between the bill originally passed by the Senate in June and the version rejected in July, and they do provide links, you can compare the bills, John. So I'm not making this up. Only minor changes can be found which do not appear to alter the substance of the bill, including funding. So there was no magic moving around of the money, John. It was just disingenuous grousing by Republicans. And Jon Stewart, Jon Stewart's been a hero for these veterans and for the 9/11 people. And it's amazing to me that Republicans, they claim they're the Patriots, John. Well, you're a veteran. I'm a veteran. I'd call us the Patriots. And I can tell you what, man, I want the benefits. And had I been exposed to toxic chemicals and I had some sort of health infirmities, I would surely expect my country to stand by me, Republicans and Democrats. We're all freaking Americans here, man. If somebody served, take care of them. This should not be a point of major conjecture and, false lies. 84-14. It didn't change. Come back. More Devils. We never change.
My neighbors have different opinions about COVID-19 vaccines. Getting vaccinated is your choice. No one can make your mind up for you. Talk to your healthcare provider about your questions and go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times.
Number 1.
Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside.
2.
Virtual play dates, social and physical distancing can help save lives.
3.
Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Douglas LaFollette, welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show.
Good to be here, Mike. Across the country, in most every state, the sex-safe state is the person who is in charge of the election. And we've seen lots of hanky-panky in Florida back during the Al Gore elections, in Ohio and Georgia and Arizona and Michigan.
We appreciate you coming around, sir.
Check out the entire podcast library at darnwi.com. Hi, folks. This is Kirk Bankstad at the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I am proud to introduce you to Choice, our new pink grapefruit flavored hard seltzer. Choice was made in collaboration with Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, and 5% of the proceeds from every can goes to support them and their fight for reproductive freedom. Choice Hard Seltzer tastes great and comes in at only 105 calories per can. Go to our website, MinocquaBrewingCompany.com, to find where you can buy Choice Hard Seltzer.
My mother was very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It is the last segment of the day, so if you got something to say, hit us up right now, 844-967-2789. I know we got some callers holding, but I want to get some of the sound out from today. The Inflation Reduction Act. Senator Bernie Sanders, one of our favorites, he was out talking about this today. We have a little bit of sound. Evan, I'm going to need your help on this whenever you're ready. Let's start with Senator Sanders, cut number 10.
Millions of senior citizens are unable to afford to go to a dentist. Imagine that. In the richest country on earth, elderly people can't afford to go to a dentist. Their teeth are rotting in their mouths.
Which is really amazing to me. When some of the things Bernie's just so matter-of-factly states.
He's always right. And he's always for the people.
I know.
He's never about like, I'm so cool. Like Ted Cruz, it's always about Ted Cruz. Donald Trump, it's always about Donald Trump. Most politicians are narcissists. Bernie Sanders, like I in college, Dom, I don't think the man owns a comb or a brush.
I'm the old one now, Crudy.
Well, why would I need one now?
Right. More from Bernie. Maybe this is on the floor. I'm not clear where the sound source is, but let's hear our buddy Bernie, cut 11.
Under this legislation, the fossil fuel industry will receive billions of dollars in new tax breaks and subsidies over the next 10 years, on top of the $15 billion in tax breaks and corporate welfare that they already receive every year.
Yeah, that's just what the petrochemical companies need. More perks, Dom, because they don't have enough perks like depletion.
Well, you had to get Manchin on. Perhaps that was one of the costs of doing so. Bernie Sanders, cut 12, please.
If you want to know why there is so much anger and so much frustration and so much disillusionment within our society today, it's important to understand that real weekly wages for the average American worker are lower today than they were 49 years ago.
Again, to the point. Let's hear more about the rigged economies from Senator Sanders, cut 13.
The people of this country believe, and in my view correctly, that we have a corrupt political system dominated by the wealthy and the powerful, and that we have a rigged economy.
It's rigged. Different sort of rigged, though. I agree with the economy is rigged against the working class. I mean, even Donald Trump acknowledged, it's only the suckers that pay taxes. I hope to be rich enough someday, Dom, that I'm exempted from taxes like Bezos or the Tesla dude.
A couple more from Sanders. We have some Schumer, and then your calls, 844-967-2789. Bernie, tell me how the people feel. Cut 14.
I think what is most frightening in terms of where the American people are politically today is that there is actually a growing number of Americans who believe that they may have to take up arms against their own government in order to accomplish what they think needs to be done.
Final cut from Bernie, cut 15.
All of this speaks to a very, very dangerous moment for American democracy, and in a number of ways it resembles the conditions that existed in Europe in the 1920s and early 1930s, which led to fascism and totalitarianism.
Again, right on point. Senator Sanders speaking regarding the Inflation Reduction Act. Chuck Schumer, a little more positive about it, on my understanding. Let's hear cut number 17.
Our bill reduces inflation, lowers costs, creates millions of good-paying jobs, and is the boldest climate package in U.S. history.
Bold.
Bold. Big and bold. Cut 18, please.
This bill will kickstart the era of affordable clean energy in America. It's a game changer. It's a turning point, and it's been a long time in coming.
Hope that means electric cars will be more affordable because, on my next car, it's got to be green, baby.
They did extend the $7,500 credit, and also I believe they issued a credit for used electric cars as well, $3,000 or $4,000 on that one. Just a couple more. We're going to bounce around here. If you would cut number 22, the Dems are united.
Throughout these last few days, every senator I said, please don't offer this amendment. Don't vote on this because it could pull apart the bill, even though you might need it. Just about every single person cooperated.
Just about. That is pretty amazing. Let's do one more. Cut 23, please.
The Senate has now passed the most significant bill to fight the climate crisis ever. And it's going to make a difference to my grandkids.
844-967-2789. Let's get some callers in before the top of the hour. Jack from the back, you are up. Welcome, sir. What do you got for us?
Well, it's quickly. You have an ad on that basically says when the Democrats are in power, the Republicans basically stall and fight everything. And that is exactly what's happening in Washington. And that's why we need to get a couple of more senators, and that's why we can never, ever let McConnell become potentate of the Senate again. His statement in May of 2021, it said 100% of the Republican focus is on blocking everything the Biden administration does, has been absolutely true. I only wish that the other half of your ad, which says, and you think that their Republicans are going to get reelected with this kind of an approach, unfortunately, they do. And that's what I find incredibly frustrating. I can't believe people do it, but they vote for Republicans.
Jack, they get boonswoggled, I believe I said. Want to sneak one more in here. Appreciate your call, Jack. Jeannie from Eau Claire. Welcome, Jeannie. What's your thought?
Hey, Jeannie.
I'll tell you something. Watch out for Michaels because he's in there for the money. Foxconn, making money off Foxconn, making money off of dirty pipelines. So, folks, you want some more of what you got, and even worse, you vote for Michaels and then stick it in your ear. You guys have a great evening, and thank you for the work you do. You're doing an outstanding job. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye, Jeannie. Thank you for listening.
You are an outstanding person because you listen. And I would encourage you to vote tomorrow in the partisan primary. There are some races that matter. And here's one to leave you with. Secretary of State. I'm going to encourage all my Democratic friends, and this is the only endorsement I'm offering, Doug LaFollette. If you vote against Doug LaFollette, you're not a real American. That's all I can say.
Come on.
You're going to blow it. I mean, Doug LaFollette won when Scott Walker won. And the only way the Secretary of State's office matters is if Amy Loudenbeck wins that race. And if the blue on blue violence, this candidate that Sachin showed up with, more enthusiastic than the candidate herself to name her as a candidate, let me tell you, who's going to beat Doug LaFollette? Nobody's going to beat Doug LaFollette because you're all going to vote for Doug LaFollette. Unless you're voting for Adam Steen on the Republican side.
Then you can't.
Thanks for listening. We'll do it again on Election Day. Please tune in.
Is a complete lack of respect for the law.
I was busy doing work. I serve in the Senate.